like his replacements played against Kentucky?
Yeah, obviously, Kamal was a big part, of what we did, the majority of the season, is obviously a shame, the kid won't have a chance to finish what he did. But, I felt good. The guys played hard. Obviously there's some things that, we can all do better, but I thought overall, I thought those guys competed, and obviously gave us a great opportunity to win the game, which we obviously did.
Kentucky was able to run up their passing yards a little bit more than other teams have been against you guys this season. Is there any adjustments you're looking to make sure UConn isn't able to do the same thing in the air this Saturday?
Yeah, we went in the game, very deliberate. We knew what they wanted to be. I think they were leading the SEC in yards per carry, and, we didn't want to allow those guys to do that, so we had made a conscious effort to take the run away. And, you got to give those guys a lot of credit. The quarterback's a veteran player. He made a ton of great throws. But obviously every game is different, from our perspective. We try to identify, what their strengths are, and we try to minimize it. So whatever the game plan needs to be to win the game is always what the game plan is. And we felt like we needed to take away the run, and we felt like we did a great job that way.
Coach, from the pass rushing standpoint up front, I know there's been a lot of talk about kind of what offenses are doing and some frustration there. What's kind of the counter for your defensive line to get, continue to get home with the quarterback?
Yeah, well, I tell those guys all the time, it's a sign of respect, when they're chipping you on the edges, when they're getting in 7-man protections, things of that nature. There's going to be a challenge. I mean, it really is. But, when you work as hard as those guys have worked, when you're having a season as those guys are having, there are going to be some challenging games that way. And, obviously they did a really good job that way with their protections. But at the end of the day, we're going to continue to, like I said earlier, take away the things that we feel they do best, and then we'll obviously make adjustments during the course of the game. But, again, UConn's a different animal. They have some things that they do extremely well. We're working really hard to try to take that away at this point.
Coach, you played a lot of young linebackers. Just how would you gauge the progress at this point of Arion, Jeremiah, and Elijah? He's the second-year guy, he's still young.
Yeah, they're coming along. I thought, again, particularly in the run game, those guys were very effective. Obviously, in some passing situations, I know there's some room to improve, but no different than most of the guys on the defense. We had a conscious effort to make sure that we stopped the run, and I thought we did that, and the young linebackers were a big part of it.
In general this season, what's been so effective in defending against the run?
Yeah, stopping the run is a mentality. It's physicality. It's obviously, guys fitting their gaps, and, everybody has to play their part. Whether you're loading the box and asking the corners and the safeties to play man on the edges, whether you're slanting and moving the front. It's just a mentality. We feel like, it's a lot of things that can happen when you have to throw the ball, whether it's a sack, whether it's incomplete, whether, you pick it off. But if they're running the ball, and we can't stop the run, that's always a formula for disaster. So typically when we've been good against the run, we've come out on top, and that's just something that we believe in.
We'll finish with Adam.
You said it was a sign of respect, the protection you guys are getting against the pass rush. When did you see that change? Was that a game or two in? When did you start seeing?
Yeah, I think Bama did a little of it. And obviously Kentucky showed more than they had shown in the past. But, the chipping we saw probably a little bit from A&M, so probably mid-season. You're starting to see a lot more of it. The 7-man protections is probably a little bit different. Kentucky did a little bit more than, what they have shown on tape. But at the end of the day, obviously we have to be able to adjust and, make adjustments as a coaching staff and obviously the players on the field. But that's just how it is. If you're able to affect the quarterback, what you're for, those guys aren't dumb. They're going to do what they need to do as well to be able to protect their edges. And, your hats off to Kentucky. I thought they did a good job that way.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.